Voices of Defiance podcast number 46, recorded and streamed to the internet live Sunday, August 30th, 2015.
I'm Neil from Legends Podcast, a podcast member of the GonnaGeek network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready, because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1...
Welcome to Voices of Defiance. It's a podcast about SyFy's television show Defiance and all of its universes to include, but not limited to, the video game. We're not experts, just a few fans like yourself that love the show and want to geek out about it. If you haven't caught up to the latest aired episode, you might want to pause right now and go catch up, since there will be spoilers. You have been warned. And now, let's have some fun and get on with the podcast.
I am a space cowboy. Hello, my name is Stargate Pioneer. My friends call me SP, and with me is the woman who is rushing to her nearest Canadian embassy to get a green card. Her name is Shannon.
Let me in.
And also is with me is the man who draws pretty pictures and says stupid stuff. His name is Sean.
Well, that kind of encapsulates me in very short order, doesn't it?
Your words, not mine, sir.
Yeah, I didn't say they were incorrect. I said it kind of encapsulates things. I want to be a cowboy.
Exactly. I want to be a cowboy.
Ted. Can you believe that? Ted. Oh, Ted. Fighting. Not. Didn't you remember that song? Oh, I love that. Shannon hates that one. She's just looking at me like, she's giving me the death eyes like, please don't sing. Especially not 80s retro.
The Ballad of the Edmund Fitzgerald is the one I go to. Or Johnny Horton, Sink the Bismarck. That's pretty good, too.
I hate the freaking dance. I
what?
hate that.
Men Without Hats?
I freaking hate this song.
Oh, that's classic. And you got the like crazy, like blonde-haired, crazy-eyed chick dancing in the video. She's like, she's like a German, dressed as a German Fräulein or whatever. It's great.
Stupid.
They're going to dance, and they do the whole, it's great.
Who watches videos anymos?
I do all the time. That's what YouTube is for.
That's right. I just can't access it from work. So,
I was going to say, where have you been, man?
In a hole, in the ground.
In the hole, in the ground.
That's what my phone is for. I can't watch the things I want to watch on work anyways.
Well, we'll be talking Season 3, Episode 13, Upon the March We Fittest Die today. Just a reminder, go to GonnaGeek.com, go to our podcast page. In the top right-hand corner is all the great ways you can reach us, our Twitters, our Facebooks, our emails, including our voicemail line, 612-888-ARC1 or 612-888-2751. In addition to being the Season 3 finale, we have a just a little bit announcement today, don't we, Mr. Sean, Miss Shannon?
We do.
Small. S-M-O.
Small. Well, if you like Voices Defiance enough, we've got a treat for you, don't we?
He was awesome. Awesome.
I'm leading you in. Come on, help me out here. It's red. It's circular. It's got a bubble.
Shannon's going to get a tattoo.
It's not going to be red.
No, the store.
And we don't know.
The Voices of Defiance gear.
Yeah, we do have, Shannon is, many of you who listen to the show, or anybody who listens to the show knows, Shannon is kind of our social director.
Kind of.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. She, do you even know where that comes from?
No.
That's another 80s thing. That's Public Enemy.
You.
Yeah, boy.
That's all I get.
Well, okay. Well, if it comes from me, then that's where I get it. So that's where you get it.
Both born the same year. You're like 1 or 2 months older than she is.
Yeah, I'm like 2 or 3 months older. She is, and we listened to completely different stuff apparently. Because I was into metal and rap and hip hop and everything. Yeah, now we're both kind of into electronica. It's all we really listen to. Although you listen to country now too.
I've always listened to country.
Can you be in Texas and not listen to the country?
I don't, and the only
He's
country...
only been in Texas since he's 14, so it doesn't count for him.
12.
It still doesn't count for you.
Well, okay. But I've only been here 30 years.
Doesn't count.
It doesn't, she's like, it doesn't count. So all that to say that we have as we were saying before, Shannon is our social director, and she assaulted me, about a week ago, and saying, I'm going to go to New York Comic Con and I want to wear a Voices of Defiance shirt and we don't have one, so fix it. Okay.
Make that happen.
Yeah. Come on, monkey boy. Get on that art horse and ride.
Because
Let's go.
I also need more stickers for the back of my window.
Yeah. So, because
And
we
shirts.
don't have enough already. So she bullied me into making a Voices of Defiance logo that is available on Redbubble. So you can put it on any kind of product you want that's available on Redbubble.
And it's the one with Kinsey on it.
It is the one with Kinsey on it, because why wouldn't you have one with Kinsey on it? I mean, seriously.
Because you want to eat purple meat.
Damn right you do. You're damn right. Taste purple meat. That is probably a better.
I like the white meat.
So it's available on Redbubble right now. You can search Voices of Defiance and find it if you're anywhere on Redbubble, and it will let you buy. I mean, you can stick that thing on anything. I didn't restrict anything as far as product line, so you can put it on clothes and mugs and whatever it is you want. So both of you listening, you can have VOD merch. So it's super not exciting, but it is available to you. And Shannon has. We were talking the other day, and after I saw the arch in this
in the finale,
Has nicknames for all of her body parts. What?
Well, Marissa has nicknames for all your body parts. I have some too, but I'm not allowed to talk about that on the cast.
It's on the whiteboard of stuff we cannot talk about on the podcast.
Like right behind the screen of the camera here, stuff I cannot talk about.
Oh, we're gonna
signed Shannon.
We're gonna talk about it.
I have seen that list.
It's our last one. We could talk about it.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Limited.
I was like, really? I get carte blanche? But after seeing the arch in this episode, I think I might have to, if we get a season 4.
Definitely gotta. Oh,
I gotta redo the arch and make those lights and the glowy thing in the Nolan's arch. I gotta make that.
Can I
logo.
Make a request? Just a small request.
Do you have boobs?
Yeah, I actually want Berlin.
Oh God!
I want Berlin.
I don't even know if you have boobs.
In the logo. I mean, if
you want Berlin in the logo and a banana.
Yeah, if you get Kinsey, I want Berlin.
Then I will stop. If you're gonna be taking requests, there are some requests.
I gotta take somebody out then.
No. I mean, it could be in the backdrop a little bit. I'd be fine with that.
I was gonna say we can only have them so far across. What?
I just have some ideas.
Oh no! How long is this gonna take me?
Well, we have at least a year, if not infinity. So there you go. Yeah. It might or might not happen.
Maybe get some good favors out of it.
I'll take it. Yeah, you'll work for it? All right. Shannon has taken the hit for the team. So
can you add Poopinger?
No, I'm not adding Poopinger. Oh, that had to be Arissa. Who asked for that?
Arissa
Can
Wi-Fi.
have a small piece of poop on it?
I have something to say about Poopinger today, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
First of all, again, I want to say thank you very much to Mr. Kevin Murphy for coming with us yesterday and talking to us. It was fantastic. We really appreciate it. And thank you to yourself and to the entire cast and crew for providing the excellent performances and stories over the past 3 years. We really appreciate that. For this week, though, what we're going to do is we're going to start and we're going to talk about the season 3 finale, Upon the March We Fittest Die. It was written by Kevin Murphy himself, and how can you not if you're going to wrap up the storylines like he did and leave some open too. I think that was magically done. And it was directed by Michael Nankin. So basically the 1 and the 2 in the Defiance universe were at the helm for this episode, and it was fantastic. Now, we started at the Macaulay house, so at least we had some Macaulay, and we had something happen. Of course, Kevin Murphy referred to what I thought was going to happen, so thank you for thinking of me, sir, and it's good to be thinking alike. But Daytak came in and the Wolverine claw came in handy. And I thought when I originally saw it that the Wolverine claw went through her head. The second time I watched it, it looked like it was the neck. What did you guys think? Head or neck?
Yeah, I thought it was the head at first too. But I'm thinking, how can she be stabbed in the head twice if she comes back later on? But it's pretty funny watching her be pinned there to the wall.
Yeah, to me it looked like it was pinned like through her neck and through her spine, which is all kinds of not good. Which would, to me, be why she had so much trouble trying to pull it back out or trying to pull it out, because it was like lodged through those very small vertebrae in your neck.
Could you imagine if it was the way that Kevin wanted it originally? We had Linda Hamilton come through.
Yeah, you guys were totally right about that. So I was
right.
Well, it's because they said you never saw the body, so now we know he purposely left it in there on purpose because he meant to bring her back.
I don't know.
She'll be back.
I hope she is. I honestly hope she is. I hope we get some Linda Hamilton in season 4. She was amazing in season 3. I was super enthused about the whole thing and seeing her, and she did a great job. I think she's phenomenal. She has uber sci-fi cred. It was just really cool. So I enjoyed seeing her. I enjoyed that whole like crazy. She plays crazy really well.
Oh, just a bit.
So it was really, really cool. And I honestly hope both those things we get of season 4 and Linda Hamilton gets to come back, because it's Sarah Connor. I mean, look at she started a genre, for crying out loud. I mean, she's awesome. So and in T2 and even T1, she was one of the first women action type characters on screen that kicked ass. I mean,
there's really only one other that
she killed a Terminator.
You had Linda Hamilton as Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong because I don't remember all of them, but those were the two main
those were the two that I remember.
Sci-fi chicks
in the
that
80s.
kicked ass,
Yeah.
And then Amanda Tapping came along with Stargate SG-1, the TV show.
Yeah, Sam killed things with her brain. I mean, she didn't she implode a sun or something like that? I mean,
what'd she say? You kill one, you blow up one star.
It keeps on coming back. Yeah. I know there was ones before. I mean, we're talking about Tasha Yar with Star Trek The Next Generation. So you've had this slow build, but I don't think I've seen a show, and we talked about this before, stocked full of passionate, capable women that you like on one show. Because you might have a very capable, evil woman, right, that everybody hates and is very conniving, very manipulative. And that is the one key woman on the show, not Defiance. You have all sorts, from heroes to villains, and they're all, you got to watch out. I mean, even at the end here with Nolan fighting with Kinsey, I think she was toying with him a little bit, but she was throwing him around.
Yeah. Besides, I'd let her. I'd let her do anything. It really wouldn't matter. I'd have been a horrible person to have on that ship and be like, let's snuggle.
I need to keep warm. Space is cold.
Yeah, can I plug my heater in?
You made him blush.
That's not even a spur of the moment question. I asked Shannon that during the winter months all the time.
You made him blush. Look at his face.
That is funny.
He's not used to you.
And Alphabet Cookie steps in and says, Shan, you would so be lunch. She and I have been trying to steer you away from this awful little fascination you have with Kinsey, because we all know it's going to end with death. And I mean, think of the children.
He doesn't mind. And I don't really need him, so it's okay.
What about Michaela? What is she going to think when she grows old? Oh, Daddy.
Oh, I don't have Michaela in that universe. That's fine.
Oh, I see. Headcanon accepted. All right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a bachelor then.
I see.
Me too.
Yeah. It's like, what name do we come up with you, or did I come up with you for Stama's handmaiden?
Oh,
Shandina.
Yeah.
She's Shandina. She would be Stama's handmaiden, just attending to Stama's bath.
And other things.
And other things. And her bath beads.
Here, let me help with that paint.
Shandina will help you.
Shandina. Oh,
Matt's like, that's it. That's your new name.
We didn't even see Andina. I mean, she wasn't even on the floor. It was like Pilar after
she dropped to the floor, and then you saw her like fall down and like half in, half out of the little den there, and that was it. You never got another shot of her. You never got anything.
They paused the camera. She rolled away.
Yeah. Now it's like, ma'am, not appearing in this film. You know, I mean, it's just like she's gone. So
she was in the way for Stama begging. To be all sorts of slavery.
Well, it would have been more impactful if she would have got on top of Andina on her knees and begged for...
Crawled right over her?
Yeah, I think that would have been impactful. Mm-hmm.
I would have been impacted. Would have been fine.
She would have been dead. I mean, come on.
And then she licked the baby. I'm telling you, that baby was traumatized.
Oh, for the rest of its days. They had to film that scene in the end where the baby's clapping, like baby Luke is clapping. They had to film that first, because now I think the baby needs serious therapy.
Wait, would you say, Friday, give the baby a purple teddy bear?
Yeah, give the baby a purple teddy bear and see what happens. I mean, you got to start mitigating the damage somehow.
Probably just after it wipes the poop out of its diaper, it'll probably just be okay.
Shantina needs to help
Those babies were cute, and especially with Arissa's moment with the baby on top of the stairs with Alec on the bottom, and you knew what was happening there. I mean, you saw the looks between the two of them.
I've seen it happening for the past 3 episodes.
Yeah, but we see I'm not seeing enough happening. I mean, it's not like Tommy where she's like, don't speak while I have my way with you. You know, we need one of those where it's just like, okay.
Well, okay. So it's like Jerry Maguire, right? In this case, Alec is the single parent, and you can't string him along. You have to give him the whole package. You have to do with the baby, you have to do with the Alec, but you have to make sure that connection is there with Luke first before you do anything. And there definitely is with her. I think she'll be around. And as I alluded to before, I think it's a great connection because once Alec gives the charge blade off to Luke, Arissa's going to be the only one that...
What do you call it? What was the nickname that Jesse called it?
I don't know.
The charge blade or the baby?
No, the ship between him and Arissa.
He came up with several ones, and it wasn't
he sent it back to us. I can't remember.
Yeah.
We're so awesome.
It's in our Twitter feed.
Don't bring it up if you can't remember.
Shut up.
Arissac or something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, but he came up with some ship names, so we need to find that and perpetrate it. Arak. A-R-A-K. That's what Applebelt Cookie put in the chat.
Or maybe, well, actually, by this time in Earth, if Australia is gone, Iraq is probably just a desert, just sand at this point.
Iraq is a desert.
No, I mean just nothing but desert. Like nothing, no life, no organisms, no bacteria, nothing. It's
could
just
be a frozen tundra by now.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Kenya. Now, Australia, I mean... Okay, so this is what kind of a manacle guy that you have helming Defiance. I just thought it would be funny to kill an entire continent.
That's what he said yesterday.
Just to give Grant a line.
Just to mess with Grant. He did that just to mess with Grant.
He likes Game of Thrones. I'll bet you he likes Walking Dead. We didn't talk about it, but I bet you he likes it. And I bet you definitely if he's shopping a show with AMC, he'll say he loves it. But that mindset of trying to kill characters, I'm like, no, I like my characters. I don't want them all to die. And they kill
we couldn't.
Way too many.
He couldn't shop a Defiance at AMC.
Yeah, that's happening. But we were totally right at the beginning of this season when we were like, you've been watching, the writers have been watching too much Thrones. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're looking at Thrones and going, hey, we could do that. We got some characters, don't we? Let's kill some of them off. That'd be great.
I gotta lose some hands. It's okay.
It's fine. Although every time I try and look at Thrones clips or something like that, every time I see them, it's like somebody being horribly tortured or put to death or losing limbs or something like that. That's a horror. I don't know how you watch that show. It's horrible.
It doesn't affect me.
Then you have a
stomach.
How do you sleep next to her?
Holy crap.
I have a stronger stomach and
torture. This abject torture doesn't bother you?
As long as it's not on me.
But you don't like a hot purple chick licking a baby?
Didn't say I didn't like it.
I didn't say it all. I didn't say I wasn't into it. That's my fetish.
No, I can't handle the baby crying, but
okay, that's your line. You can watch a dude with his nuts cut off, but you can't watch
through all the time on Game of Thrones. That's the parts I couldn't watch. I don't care about the guy that's getting sliced. I can't handle the baby being eaten or sliced on Game of Thrones or put on the fire. I can't. No, you mute it and you turn the channel for a few minutes.
There's a dude that gets his schlong cut off.
I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I can't handle the baby.
It's like, I'm fine with bobbiting a dude on national television, but baby crying? No, we can't do that.
Surprisingly, I'm okay.
That wasn't bad enough. Wasn't the next scene that you see those actors in, he walks in with a sausage and he's eating the sausage?
Yeah, and he's like eating a sausage going, oh, you've got a good
Tastes
song.
like chicken.
I'm like, oh, it's a horrible show. Anybody watches this.
What was it? It's that one time I begged you to watch it. Oh, it's not that bad. Come watch it. It's that you sit down and watch the dogs chasing
the girl and then eat her alive in the middle of the farm. I'm like, this is an awful show.
Like, well, there could have been a better scene for you to sit down and watch.
And then I'm walking by, like it was happened to be on a podcast night because I do with some other shows, and she's watching either TiVo or whatever Thrones. And it's the fight between the Mountain and the Viper or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool fighting and everything going on. And then he starts like crushing or like gouging his eyes out and crushing his head. I'm like, I cannot believe you watched this show.
It was better in the book.
Horrid.
See, that's what it's the people that read the book and they come to the show wanting to see it all. It's the same with Harry Potter. I don't think Harry Potter would have been as good without the books out first, but...
Yeah, but Harry Potter, you don't have to. I mean, it had horrible stuff in it, but not so terrible that you felt bad.
Well, right. I mean, it's kind of a kid's thing. It gets dark, but it's a kid's thing, granted.
Speaking of books, we have a possibility of a Defiance comic book.
Yeah, that's
what he said yesterday, Defiance comic book. I'm like, what?
That's going to be very different. If the show continues, you have a better shot of it. If the show doesn't continue, you're probably not going to get that because they're not going to invest in a dead IP.
I can handle waiting for the comic book if I can get another season.
You don't even read comics.
I don't care. I would read Defiance comic.
Oh my gosh.
Like I said yesterday, they need a paperback. If Warehouse 13 can have and I mean one out there, if they can have a paperback book, Defiance could have many.
Okay, so we were talking before the cast about Robotech, and for those of you that don't know, Robotech was an anime series back in the 80s that was, I think, 85 precisely, was out there, and it was the combination of 3 different Japanese anime series, and it was put together into one long story. And it was 80 episodes, I believe. No, it's
pretty huge.
The first part was 80, and then I think the rest of it was like 120 or I can't remember how many total episodes. This is bad. I'm a big Robotech fan. I can't remember how many episodes. I need to rewatch. Okay.
See you next year.
Yeah. So, it won't be that long. They're half-an-hour shows. Anyway, I spent my entire life up to this point putting together a headcanon that I can accept, trying to wrap that whole thing up. And if you take a look at other TV series out there, like we alluded to Star Trek The Next Generation, which ended up in All Good Things. That was a good wrap-up. Of course, you still had the rest of the universe going on around it, but just that one TV show, after 7 years, you had a good wrap-up. You have other shows out there that have not had a good wrap-up. Firefly, Alphas, you name it. Caprica. I was thinking about this. Sean and I probably diverged greatly on this. I think Battlestar Galactica had a good final ending, and I think Sean would disagree with me that it should have ended a season earlier than it did.
I would, and I would have ended it on the nuked out planet. I think that was a powerful ending. Just have them sitting there with the remains of the 2 civilizations going, well, you weren't able to deal with this before, so you're going to have to change it if you want things to end differently now. And let us talk about that. Let us just stew on that. I think that would have been a more powerful ending and just something different than you normally see, because people would still be talking about that now. I think that the fact that they just chased it all the way down, I think that left less room, but that's just me.
Okay, so you had that, and then on the flip side, you had Stargate SG-1, which had an ending at the 8th year. Now, it kept on going 2 other years, but it had an ending to finish it off.
They had an ending with Jack.
Yeah.
While they were fishing for no fish.
So there are pros and cons to going forward at this point in time. It was pretty much a good ending if it was going to be a series ending. However, I think that it left a lot of room. In my second watch through, I definitely saw a lot of opportunities. Nolan is still wanted by the VC. You have the whole relationship between Arissa and Alec. You have Berlin and what's going on with Connor, or was she meant to come back and take over the town maybe? You had characters that we didn't see die. Doc Ewell was dying. Amanda, it looked to me like they wanted her to die and then changed their mind and brought her back at the end. So they're leaving the door open and they're not pissing off the fans too much, which is all good, I think. But I'm worried where they go from here, as with any series, next season, what's it going to be like? So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a good opportunity to jump off from, or do you want to see it stop right here?
Well, of course we want to see it continue, but if they were going to, if this was going to be it, if SyFy says, nope, we're not doing it again. If they left it the way it is right now, there's no cliffhanger. There's no battle to be fought. There's nothing bad happening in the town right now. Everything looks like it's peaceful at the moment, other than Nolan being missing and Amanda being depressed all the time like she is. But it could end right now and everything would be okay with the town. That being said, please come back. I want more Defiance. So I think it could go either way at the moment. And it did look like that they were getting, I seriously thought we've lost characters all through the season. I seriously thought we were going to lose Amanda. But
I think they may have, because he was talking that that they made certain changes and everything on so many different levels and everything. I think she may have been one of them, because I don't know, man. When she fell, like she was dripping blood from the table all the way outside. You can't lose that much. I mean, you don't. I don't know how many court system your thing is, but she's tiny and she can't lose that much and walk out there. So I don't know. I think at one point she was going to get offed. I think at one point Anna Banana was just not coming back. I think she was just gone. Like they wrote her out and then went, maybe we should bring her back.
And we know
maybe we should bring her back. We're killing an awful lot of people
right.
here.
And we know by talking to Trina in her interview, they plan to kill her.
Yeah.
And possibly
do a clone thing or whatever.
But they talked about killing her. He actually came to her and said so. So, I mean, that was 3 main characters that we could have possibly
lost. So, I don't know, man. There was a lot of character ending stuff. However, I will say this. The coolest thing I heard Kevin Murphy talk about was yes, I'd like to do time travel. I'm like,
I know. It's like, cool. You could actually bring back a lot of characters by doing that too. You could actually bring back Kirstie, although she would be a little girl, so to be a different character or whatever.
Yeah, but you could bring back Rafe McCulley. You could bring back
Ren and Sukar.
Yep, Ren and Sukar. God, Ren. I mean, Ren's not dead, is she?
No, but used to be a bit.
She's in jail, I guess, technically, but she's not dead.
One-eyed.
Yeah, she's one-eyed.
There's been no confirmation that Sukar is dead or not either.
No, he was in the pods that they got Arissa and Nolan out of. But since Arissa and Nolan were doubling up, then they were having life support issues. The other ones could safely still be down there. I mean, we don't know. They could still be in those pods happily asleep.
Yeah. Birdie,
Sukar, all the people who got grabbed. So you could go, depending on when you got back there, you could do all kinds of stuff. I mean, if they took Nolan and Doc and turned them into Doc and Marty from like Back to the Future.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. Like
2015.
Like Doc and Doc. If you compare the two, Christopher Lloyd and Trina, they have about the same personality.
But he also said the best thing is that she would be able to come back without the antigenes.
Yeah, and make her a skin job.
Right.
Oh, it would be fantastic.
So you would see Trina
more than anything else. I am excited about that. If we get a season 4, I hope the hell he does that, because that is the coolest idea. There's all kinds of stuff you could do.
Time travel brings me back every time, like that new Ronald D. Moore series, Helix, on SyFy, right? I was going to pack it in. I probably shouldn't have even left the first season, but the second season comes around and I'm like, okay, well, let's just see. And then all of a sudden they did time travel. I'm like, aw, you managed to get me around for a second season. Aw.
I really could have used that time in other ways, but now I have to because there's time travel.
I just got to do it. Yeah.
That is such a guy sucker, because you can sucker a guy in with time. This movie is horrible. It's got all this stuff. It has time travel. I'm in. It doesn't matter. We're just suckers for that. I have no idea why that is.
The original Terminator, right? It had time travel in it and an android or machine or whatever. And Linda Hamilton.
Cyborg,
Well, yeah. And Linda Hamilton before she was Linda Hamilton. I mean, that's like.
And she had feathers 80s bangs,
For the Beauty and the Beast time.
That movie could have been so much like Trancers, but it was so not. It was so much better. It was great. Which is why we have the sci-fi canon we do today.
I liked the first Trancers. It was awesome.
Okay.
Helen Hunt, she did great. Now, the other 9 or how many ever they did were produced for about $50 a pop. It's not good.
Wing, who's a friend of ours and runs Legends podcast on the GonnaGeek Network,
he loves them.
Convinced me to watch all 6 movies by saying there's something really cool that happens in 6. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got them from.
I have to invest in this.
Yeah, I got it from Netflix and whatever back when we were doing discs, which we still do. I need to cancel that. But I watched that and I got to 6 and there was a gender swap for the main character and that was it. I'm like, really?
Oh no, he's fascinated with gender swapping.
I can just hear him.
Fascinated with it.
I can hear him now in his French Canadian drunk accent.
I don't understand. How could you not like this? It's all wonderful. It's a gender swap. It's all great. If you've ever heard Wing, that's exactly how he sounds like.
Especially when I get him drunk.
Yeah, he came over to the house once and Shannon's like, oh, we're going to mess him up. And she got him just lit. lit. He was falling down.
It's me and him because you were gone after 2 drinks.
Yeah. Well, no, it was you, him, and Beef is who it was. You guys were all
That sounded bad.
I was out. It was bad. I don't remember any of it. But no, I mean, he's fascinated with gender swapping. But there's that whole sci-fi thing that you can get, and all the tropes and all the stereotypes and all the stuff that you do. And Defiance doesn't really do all of those, but it adds in the cool stuff like laser guns, spaceships, futuristic weapons, aliens, and so help me Crom, if we get time travel, how
can you not?
Talk about going to the Pale Wars? That would be cool. That'd be so cool if you can go back and have those backstories on Defiance.
So Nolan at the end is ramming the stick forward and going system to okay, I need to talk about this a little bit. Space is pretty vacant, right? There's not much out there. And at the end, we see beautiful scene after beautiful scene after beautiful scene. So loved it. But if Nolan's traveling through space, he's actually hitting a lot of dead space out there. We're just not seeing it. So he's using a lot of fuel as he's going around. But at the same time, he's getting time dilation because they are FTL. That ship with the lasers coming out, the harvester with the lasers coming out of the front of it every time it disappears, that's an FTL jump.
Yeah, time dilation applies.
Yeah.
But he's going into the future, isn't he? Like, he'll come back and it'll be like a year or two for him, and it'll be like hundreds or thousands of years for everybody else. So, I mean, that's the wrong way for time travel, isn't it?
It depends on how you slingshot around the sun.
They can't have that far of a difference between Doc and Nolan and everyone else in the town.
All right, what was the slingshot around the sun joke about, babe?
Stargate. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Actually, she's partially right because the 1969 was because of the sun. So, but I was talking about Star Trek.
Specifically, oh my gosh, Star Trek 4? They slingshot around the sun in a Klingon warbird?
I don't remember everything. I'm sorry.
You don't have to remember everything, just the movie. It's arguably the best of the entire series.
Oh,
she's looking at me like
your best and my best are 2 different things.
I was going to say, well, let's not debate that. That's the conversation.
She actually enjoyed one because it was more sci-fi. And to be honest, it was more sci-fi-y. I mean, if you think about it, if you just strip out God, I can't remember who directed that, but if you just strip out all the kind of
2001-ish.
Yeah, it was very 2001. It's very Kubrick type stuff. If you strip out all that stuff, it was actually a beautiful story. Star Trek 1 was. But I won't debate that on this cast. Everybody disagrees with me when I say that. It's almost blasphemy. But
what, that Star Trek 4 is the best?
No, that Star Trek 1 was arguably one of the best sci-fi stories of if you just stripped out all the characters and everything like that, like Voyager goes out, becomes, gets V'ger. Fixed up by a bunch of robots and becomes V'ger so that it can complete its mission because the aliens who found it went, oh my gosh, it has to complete itself. When you say Star Trek 1,
which one are you talking about?
The motion picture.
The motion picture.
The one with...
Not the J.J. Abrams reboot.
No.
No. You talking about the original Star Trek?
Yes, and don't bump your mic.
Then you're on your own because I don't like the original Star Trek.
Oh, God. That's not what you said when you watched it. Until you saw J.J. Abrams and Chris Pine.
Well, then everything else was like...
She saw Chris Pine and she's like, who's that? We need to go see Star Trek. I'm into this.
And it had Christopher Hemsworth in it, so sorry. Briefly. But it had him, so I don't need either one.
It's just like, I don't need anything else.
I don't need Captain Kirk. I never liked Kirk.
The two of them...
you liked Kirk, fine. You just didn't like Shatner as Kirk.
Yeah, that's true.
The two of them might meet each other for the first time on screen in a Captain Marvel movie. Captain Marvel? No. He was going to be Steve Rogers, so that's Wonder Woman. No, 2 separate universes.
That's okay. I can handle some Steve Rogers, too.
You could handle some Haley Atwell better.
Ooh, all 3 of them. Get some Chris, Haley.
Yeah, let's get Chris Pine on Defiance. That'd be great.
I was thinking more Chris Evans, but...
I'd like to see but Doc as Doc Brown. Okay, Nolan, we need to get a charger. Why? We need to get a charger. Okay. And I just bumped my head on the toilet this morning. So let's, get all these things together. 88 miles per hour.
We have to get the charger up to 88 miles an hour.
Why?
You see some serious stucco.
Shut-taco.
Stucco. Well, I'm hoping, because you see these characters morph throughout the last 3 seasons, and then, in my opinion, Little Wolf has reverted to kind of how she was at the beginning. Because if you noticed, at the very end here, She was wearing like
furs.
a fur, like she did in the very first season. She had her swagger back, and she had a whole big tail, which kind of worked for me when she was walking out there and all that kind of stuff. Oh, come on. Who wouldn't want a redhead with a big fluffy tail? That's pretty damn cool. I mean, she had all that. She's better. She's more complete. She's, I guess, more functioning, a little bit sad, but she's kind of a rounded human being, but she's kind of accepted who she is now, you know, which I thought was beautiful.
Yeah, she is not
a lot of
the same person. She is morphed. She has gotten better from the beginning.
But she's come back around to like, this is who I am, and I'm comfortable with that now. And I think a lot of people have really kind of accepted who and what they're. This has been great for Daytak and Stama's marriage. Not so much for, like their livelihood, their house, their family, and all the rest of that, but their marriage is strong as hell now.
Well, I think the entire Tar family came around this season. I mean, you had a lot of stuff happening with Stama. It seemed like a very Stama-centric stuff going on with the Olmec. But even though that he can't really forgive his mom completely, the fact that they were all back together and he kind of accepted them back.
Don't push it, Mom.
Don't push your luck.
He's like Christy's like, don't push your luck. It's just don't go. Yeah, I'm okay with you. I understand you have feel. Don't even go there. We are not at that place.
But you know what? It proves that, like I said, there will be acceptance.
I don't think, I think part of season 4 could be Stama and Daytak trying to repair and realize what damage and what people they have hurt and trying to atone for some of the things that they've done. Because they've done some horrible things to this town. They've done some great things too.
The speech that Stama was giving Amanda at the end was beautiful. It was awesome. She was actually apologizing and she actually felt it.
I will say that it was heartfelt from Stama. If I was Amanda, I'd have told her to stick it too. Because you kill my sister.
Yeah.
And we're done.
But Amanda smiled at her at the end.
She was drugged.
That's because that was the morphine. That was the morphine. Because I think that was Amanda just being Amanda, and like when she saved the people from the Olmec and everything, she just smiled because she's like, I saved them.
Why did she get off the table? Because she heard the damn baby crying again. I can't handle that.
I actually really. You guys ever seen Inside Actors Studio?
Yeah,
with James Lipton.
Yeah.
At the end, they ask him the questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is, what is one of the sound or noise that you most hate? And for me, it still is a child crying, like a baby crying. I hate that noise.
Because when Carrie was a baby, he called the release the Kraken.
I called her the Kraken when her youngest was born because she didn't like cry. She wasn't upset. She wailed.
Pissed off.
She just wailed and just was unconsolable until you picked her up and
Kraken.
So I called her the Kraken is
like the first
awakened.
7 months of her life. She was the Kraken.
I did. She was the Kraken. She's a sweet little girl and everything like that, but she did not endear herself. So a crying child is one of the worst noises that I can imagine because it's just like make it stop,
And it's worse when you can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, if the child just is up and decides it wants to hear its own voice and is screaming.
Baby Luke was screaming.
Yeah, that child, I feel bad for how many of her children, what was that, twins or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad for that child. But getting her off that table, and when you see her face when she realizes that she saves everybody, she's like, good, I've got it. We're good. Everybody's safe now, and just collapses. That's Amanda. Amanda has done that quietly throughout the entire series. She is desperately trying to hold the line, basically.
I think if we would have lost her, it would have been horrible. Horrible if we lost her because I think she's almost like the heart of the town.
Well, she is, and they say that. But you want to talk about the most beautiful moment I saw in this whole thing, and it's weird. It's up there. I'm not sure it would be up there for everybody. But when Daytak and Doc were talking, those are real friends. I mean, you wouldn't think so. They're the most unlikely pair, but they are real, genuine friends. And she's like, oh, well, all we needed was a fake person. And Daytak just snapped his head up and looked at her and said, you are a real person and you have an infinite soul. And don't forget that. And she's like, oh.
Stick it in me, sailor.
Stick it in me, sailor. I mean, it was a beautiful way I couldn't have written or thought of any kind of line or play between two friends that worked out better than that. I mean, they are genuinely fond of each other. and support each other in these kind of times. And more than anyone else in the town, I mean, maybe Nolan and Arissa, they make an absolutely effective team for getting stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. I mean, because they just divide it up and be like, okay, well, this is what needs to happen. And, one or the other and be, well, it's going to suck for me. Well, yeah, it is, but it's what's going to need to happen. You okay? Yeah, I'm all right. Let's do this.
I think Amanda and Berlin have a good friendship. But if you notice, Berlin didn't speak much of this episode.
I think everybody's still pissed at Berlin. Hell, we're still pissed at Berlin. Except for SP.
Yeah, well, it's forgivable. It
is forgivable. She ran out, but she was the lawkeeper, and she ran out on the town because she was scared, really. And that's how everybody will see it. So she's got a lot of trust to earn back.
That's why at the end right now, Arissa is the main lawkeeper. She's the one to answer the call. So I'm assuming that Berlin is still her second, but Arissa's the main.
I don't know, man. They don't have really any bunch of love between each other.
You didn't see a badge on Berlin. I think that Berlin was going to take over the town. I think if Amanda was going to die, Berlin was going to be the new mayor. Who else was going to be? It can't be Daytak. I mean, he won and
they wouldn't have accepted him anyway.
No.
Not now.
So you would had Berlin as the mayor and Arissa as the lawkeeper.
I don't think so, because I don't think Berlin has a great love for Arissa. I mean, she left her in the alley convulsing and just walked away.
Yes, but she saved her in the truck.
Because she wanted to know what happened, not for any other reason. And she needed to bring back Arissa to bring back some goodwill, some credit with the town. Oh, look, here, I saved one of your own. Please let me in the town and don't shoot me in the head. I think that's more than what that was. I mean, she really screwed up. I mean, she was in there with everybody else, and she was down the trench. She would have been the hero of Defiance if she'd have just wrote it out that way.
Yeah, it's so weird. And in that perspective, I really hope for a season 4 to explore exactly what the heck happened, because I have no idea. Unlike Joe in Warehouse 13, they're kind of similar characters, right? What's that?
No.
Well, they're a little bit.
I don't know, man. Joe never backed off the town.
Right.
Oh, okay. You're saying that's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that. They were both badasses. They're both gunslingers. They're both kind of that tough person. The difference between Joe and Berlin, though, is Joe always put the town first. I mean, over her relationships, over
Micah,
her everything. No, not Micah.
What are you talking about?
From
not Warehouse 13, Eureka.
That's what I'm saying. We were talking two different people here.
Yeah, we were. Joe from Eureka. So
Joe from Eureka. She always put the town first. She always put her job over her personal stuff, over her situations, any of that stuff. Joe was down for the town. And that's just how it happened. I think Berlin, honestly, what I think it was is she got scared. She got scared. She didn't see a way out. She thought she was going to die, and she bolted instead of standing with the people of Defiance, which, honestly, as much crap as the town has been through, I would bet on the people of Defiance more than anything else. Because where else are you going to go that's safer? There's no place safer. There's no better place to go. There's no utopia. There's no anything. New York is gone. I mean, it used to be that you could go and accept Earth Republic rule, and you could live a pretty okay, normal life. That doesn't even exist anymore. New York's been habitized. It's been hellbound.
Australia's gone.
I mean, there's just no place to go.
We don't know about Europe, but we know that different places like Kenya, which is not in Europe, I know, but Kenya was destroyed as well. Kenya's. Yeah. So
so there's no better place that you can just run to. So I would not do that. I would have bet on the town of Defiance. You put your feet on my chair, I'm going to tickle them. That's how it works.
I don't see any red tape in that room. We're going to have to bring that out again.
It's back there. It's just not being deployed at the moment.
So another thing that the show did this season, which kind of cut the cord between Earth and Earth, is that they killed off the seed vault, right? Poopinger, with the singularity bomb, took out all of that. So there's no more Earth left. It is all Earth. We got a little snippet of that with the VC coming up with the coffee beans. Hey, there are some valleys that have been untouched, that sort of thing. But when you're talking about animals, dogs, cats, cows, that sort of thing, the new Earth is just not going to be hospitable enough to let them. We didn't see any hellbugs this year. We know they're still around. We know the winter didn't kill them off. They'll be back.
They're expensive to animate, would be my guess.
Yeah, and I appreciate the visual effects this season. This episode were amazing. Everything from the space shots to everything else that happened in this. There was a couple other really good. Well, okay, so the butt plugs going up into space. And the sonic boom that occurred when it was launching, that was pretty spectacular, that they even thought to throw in that sonic boom as it was launching. It happens. If you're launching into space, that happens. So I'm glad they threw that in there.
Well, and there was the great shot of Nolan inside the butt plug looking up.
Oh, yeah.
Like going up, and she's like, hold on to your lunch. And they give the shot, and he's just giggling the whole way through.
Are we going to call it that from now on?
I am. I don't know. I don't care what y'all do. I'm totally doing that.
You should have asked Kevin yesterday.
Alphabet Cookie in the chat says, please stop saying Oz is gone. It makes me feel sad. I just want to point out, it's not us. Kevin Murphy said he thought it was funny. That's why we killed everything.
Exactly. He thought genocide was absolutely hysterical.
To be clear, he thought it was funny because he's pulling a trick on Grant. He wanted to see what Grant's reaction was when he read the script.
But it was Kevin Murphy. It was not us. We did not kill Australia.
We just think it's amusing.
Can you, going back to Kevin, can you imagine what it would have been like if they would have shown what he was talking about with Romtalk, knowing the TARS? You remember when he was talking about how he knew the TARS, that they were going to have the whole scene where they had the recognition with each other? And the whole reason that Romtalk was mad at the humans is because of Stama having a miscarriage when watching Stama and Daytite come off the ship.
And no one will help her.
And no one would help her. Oh my God, that was so much storyline. You'd have never known it was there.
And that's kind of stuff that happened, like you pull from history, right? That kind of stuff happened to like Irish immigrants when they came to New York and Ellis Island and stuff like that. They were very discriminated against. They had no way to really get help, healthcare, jobs, all that kind of thing, which is why some of the things in New York were
Italians too. Same thing.
Were done the way they were. So, I mean, that's something that happens when you have a large population migrating to just a completely new place. There's no support system for you there. There's no anything that'll help you.
Right. He saw how the humans mistreated Stama, and that's what made him hate all humans.
Yeah. So
that'd have been a good line in here.
I think it would have been interesting.
Time.
And honestly, as fast-paced and as much storyline as they covered this season. I mean, you started off with Romtalk and the whole Olmec thing. Normally, you only get one major arc per season, right?
Right.
We started off with 2. So that's not bad. Plus all the peripheral stuff, right? All the little situations and character building and everything that we saw and the rest of this thing. I mean, there's no time for anybody to breathe in this town, much less have a good time or, tell some extra stories that didn't directly contribute to the plot. So, I mean, and they always tell you when you go through art school or film school or anything like that, if you're doing any kind of artistic project or something like that, you have to be prepared and willing and expect to cut your favorite part.
Yep.
You have to. Because normally, that's the one that you love the most, the one that is just a tortured piece of your soul. It's either going to not be there, nobody's going to like it, or you're not going to have time or money to do it.
Right.
And you got to cut it. So, I mean, it happens a lot.
So hopefully if we get a 4th season, he'll be able to go back in time and you can see more of the TARS coming off of the spaceship or more of the Arathians and, see more of the interaction between the other species. Races.
Yeah. I did like the recall shot back to the arc fall or arc landing, I guess would be the correct name for it.
At the very beginning.
Yeah. With Nolan under the arch in St. Louis, which I don't think, again, we talked about it way back, like on our first podcast. There is no shot that will give you that. There is a small park underneath the arch, but there's no way that you're going to get that shot the way that it's oriented there. But because it's kind of sandwiched in between the freeway and downtown and the river. But
yeah, that's the way they always portray Texas. Like in X-Files, the movie, it was like there was a picture, there was a skyline of Dallas, and it was desert, like 10 miles away, and I'm like, that's
nothing like Texas.
That's no. You have to go all the way down. I mean, you have to go like 30, 50, 100 miles out before you even get no trees and no buildings, much less desert. I mean, that's West Texas.
That's far West Texas.
Hundreds of miles away.
Arizona, West Texas.
It's like, yeah, it's Dallas. Nobody knows what that looks like.
You tumbleweeds in the back.
Yeah, there's tumbleweeds in Dallas. I'm like, no. That's not how that works.
Or you could get worse, like Michael Bay in Transformers, and go from the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. to a complete desert in Arizona.
yeah, exactly.
What the heck?
You're like, I've been there. There's no desert there.
No, there's like several thousands of miles.
Thousands of miles. Everybody knows what that is. Or my favorite was the and Beef will just talk you 15 minutes about this. In another part of Transformers, they did the art museum in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was in the third one, they said that the art museum, like they give you outside shots of this art museum, which is beautiful and famous and everything. And then inside, it's like an office building. And he's like, what the hell, man? I mean, they're famous for doing that. But it's an artistic shot. And they did that and it was, the main thing was the ship's landing with Nolan. You know, it's the arch in the background and the ship's landing and all that. But I really wondered what they were going to do about that whole arch blowing, because when they blew up their arch, I'm like, wow.
I'm like, oh my God.
That is really heavy-handed. I mean, what are you doing? What are you guys even thinking? And then when you saw it light up, first of all, I didn't see that coming. Second, I was, oh, that's cool. It really was. It was really well done. And I wonder what they call it now. She said it was named after him, but is it Nolan's Arch? The Arch of Nolan?
Butcher's Arch.
Nolan's Bend? I mean, what do you...
the buttocks. Nolan's buttock.
Nolan's curve.
It's just the one. Yeah.
It's just the one.
Plug in the arch.
Now, do you think that was just like a scaffolding with a string of lights, or do you think that it was really like they could actually go up to the top again?
Oh, no, I think it was just like a wire or like an arch, or maybe even it was like 3D light type stuff.
The town has the capability of doing that.
I don't know. But the easiest option would be just a curved piece of scaffolding and some lights on it. I mean, that would be the easiest solution and the most elegant, I would think.
Alec would be happy if he could go back up in it.
I don't think that's happening.
No.
So, no, I don't think they're going back up in the arch, but I do appreciate the symbolism. I almost said symbology.
Symbology.
The symbolism behind that. It's a Boondocks thing. It's a quote. Nobody's seen that movie.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody's seen it. Symbolism. The symbolism behind it was just powerful.
No man's arch.
Yeah, no man's arch. That's Alphabet Cookie. But I loved the symbolism behind it. I love that the town is just like, yeah, well, we're still here, so might as well fix the arch. You know, I mean, that's that.
It was so sad watching Amanda watch that light up. She never gets anything.
Oh, yes, she does. She still owns the Need One. I think she gets whatever she wants.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, again, that Berlin and Amanda share a bedroom in the Need One. I'm pretty sure that...
With the cat.
You want to be accepted back into this town? Go get the Benoit balls.
I'll get the cat.
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
We're going to do a 6-legged monkey crawl. Go get another person.
Okay, so we didn't really talk about it in depth, but Sean, do we need to take a moment? Do we need to play taps or something?
You lost your girl.
Yeah.
In many pieces, actually.
I was a little upset, but I knew as soon as they made her try to eat a baby, I'm like, oh, she's gonna have to. Damn it, she's the real heavy of the piece now, and they're gonna have to kill her because there's no way to bring her around. I was hoping that maybe they stuff her back in a Hot Pocket tube and like eat some now, save some for later or something, and then. When she boarded the butt plug to come back up to the ship, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna have to kill her.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to kill her.
Well, they already got rid of one baddie this year.
They already got rid of one. I mean, and Tefkin was supposed to be the baddie, but he was learning to adapt, and he was learning his people were gonna.
Look what he had to adapt to. Chivo. He was adapting.
Chivos has been changing men's minds since there were Chivos. Okay. In fact, I am pretty sure the Chivo was specifically crafted to change men's minds. I mean, that's its secondary purpose, you know? But I just...
Look at his face.
Secondary? I think it's primary. Yeah.
Women would probably argue that it's their great life and all that kind of stuff. Men, we have a very specific use for the Chivo. Or set of uses.
Yeah, okay.
And the Indian culture made an entire book about what to do with it. I mean, there's a lot of documentation out there for what Shannon's giving me the look like. Please stop talking about Chivos. But
Kevin Murphy brought it up.
He brought it up. I was being good.
You were being good. I was expecting any moment for you to bust out.
I was expecting good.
I was expecting you to ask him about butt plugs, but
yeah. Well, I did start off the interview asking him why he almost ate a baby, and he took that very seriously. I was hoping he was going to do a one-off and go because it's cool, you know, or something like that. But I think he was a little worried that we would be attacking him the entire time. But he loosened up after a while.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, he was super cool with us and hung out and talked about stuff. But I was Kinsey Fetty. Yeah, she did get turned into Kinsey Fetty alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very upset. I loved her character. I thought she was the sexiest thing I had seen in the town of Defiance. Before that, it was probably Anna Banana by miles, or Arista. You know, those two were very, very close. Right. But she just had this raw sexuality, and does. I mean, both Nicole and Kinsey have this raw sexuality that just is attractive.
And she has a thing for licking people.
I am a big fan of that.
There's no way I could be in a room with her and not be captivated by her.
Oh no, have you ever seen any other interviews or any of the other stuff? First of all, she's a Mensa member. She has an incredibly high IQ. She's brilliant. Mm-hmm. She has just a unquenchable thirst for art. She's a model. She's an actress. She's really just fascinating as a person. And then she takes all that and then puts it into an alien character with a bunch of purple paint and some sexy clothes and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, that just works for me. That and her predilection for licking things. I'm good with all of that. Just all of that. We need more of that. Because when you saw other Olmec women, they weren't all like seductresses and all that. Yeah, they were a bit rough. Yeah, that's wow. That's a lot of fuzz mop on the top of your head there, girl. That's
It's a little bit of a Mad Max feeling going on there. You know, if it wasn't for the Indigenes, these people wouldn't have the ability to do anything. And I don't know if they created the Indigenes or they coerced the Indigenes, but, you know, there wouldn't be any ships, I don't think. I know that there are intelligent people. Like Kinsey herself was a bioscientist, right? But it was for a specific reason of controlling the Indigenes. And I don't know if they would have been able to put together the ships and be able to control the Votana system like they did for their Dread Harvest. Okay, so the Dread Harvest, we've mentioned before that they're very much like the Wraith. The ship itself was very much like Stargate Destiny.
It was, and did you see the little sparks that were running around there? That was like a straight ripoff from Halo.
Yes.
The rings that came down was all Stargate.
Yeah, and the bits that were running around were from the Halo stuff. I originally thought they were Tron. No, they're Halo. That was totally Halo.
That was totally Halo. Somebody just tipped the hat to Halo, because that is exactly what those are. Those are the little recon things that talk to you and all that stuff. Not Guilty Spark, but they're very Halo. So, I mean, there was a lot of kind of homage to stuff, which is fine. I mean, it blended all really cool. I loved the engine of the ship. Whoever the hell did that, that was just beautifully done. I love that it creates like this great trail with the circles and everything as it punches out a round of propulsion. That was just the coolest thing.
It was. It would have been a spectacular explosion, too. And in retrospect, it might have taken out half the Earth.
Oh, yeah. Although it was kind of funny because I didn't know it was going to be like a boom, 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 boom to accelerate it. It was just like boom with the first one, and then it had like a 3-second lag, and I'm sitting there when that 3 seconds going, that was it. That was the big build up.
That's
it. Was a little poof of stuff. What the hell, man?
Well, if you think of those fusion balls, those blue fusion balls in the engine room as mini suns or whatever, they're actually doing gamma bursts as they're heating up, as the cores are heating up. So you're getting several in a row.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was seriously cool. I loved the whole design of it. I loved the kind of Flight of the Navigator feel chair that he had. Yeah, and the rolly ball and everything. It's straight Flight of the Navigator. I loved it. I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Loved that he was humming Jack. That just brings the
start singing, I'm gonna airlock you.
See, that's why it was great that even if it ends right now, he brought it all the way back. He sent her home, he sent her back down to Earth, but he's still sitting there thinking about her, and he's still sitting there singing Jackson.
Yep.
So that was a powerful moment for me.
Oh, and it was just a throwaway line, but Yule has done this before. And it's like, ooh, was she responsible?
I may have done this before.
I wonder if she was like responsible for like because the Olmec say that they were largely defeated or reduced hardly in numbers because of the Votan races and everything like that. I wonder if part of that was an inside revolt from, the Indigenes, which she's like, let's just say I've done this before. And I'm like, I knew she had a cool ass background.
I may have done this before. I got this.
I could definitely see that. And she knew that she would not be coming back. She knew the entire thing. She knew the chair or the stand or whatever that she was going to have to go to.
Yeah, she knew everything about that ship.
Get stuck by those thousands of needles going into her. And then you see that protoplasm on the floor, or her blood or whatever rolling out. And it's like, oh, so big sacrifice. Although from what Kevin was saying, it sounds like if they make it through this, Yule is not going to die. So
I think it was like she wasn't going to make it back out because she couldn't disconnect herself from the ship, because the ship would automatically protect itself if she disconnected.
And she didn't anticipate Nolan staying.
And she didn't anticipate a different thing to the plan. Yeah, a different outcome to the plan. So she's like, look, I'll take the hit because none of us can make the ship ignore its own destruction for long enough for it to blow up. I've got to stay interjected into that loop to keep the ship from saving itself. Mm-hmm. So I think that was her original plan, because I think, and we've seen that May can regenerate a new finger. She can regenerate stuff ripped off of her. She can regenerate all this kind. I mean, she had plugs in her head, for crying out loud. I mean, that would kill a human. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Because she jacked that plug back out of her head and she was still breathing. She was still alive. So she will fix herself.
I don't know if those eyes were CGI or not.
Freaky.
When she
the graphics
unplugged, but that was great with the rolling of the eyes and going from the cross-eyed up to the way it was.
It went from the white to the color.
Yeah, that was cool. Okay, so what I've learned from Nolan is if you're stuck on an alien spacecraft and you need to jumpstart the engine, you take a defibrillator and you charge it and you hit it. That's how you start the engines on a spaceship.
I was like, oh, come on. But did you guys see it? Did you guys see the WSA? I'm calling that's us. I don't care. There was a WSA on the panel when it got translated into English. And I don't know if that was for us, if that was, because you never know. Like they did that in Battlestar Galactica for a show that we were doing, because it was a Galactic Water Cooler. And at the very end of the show, they had a water cooler stand. Never had a water cooler the entire rest of the show, and it was sitting there in this room by itself.
That's saying the show actually knows the Voices of
Defiance. they knew our show, because they put it right there, and we got confirmation from Ron Moore after, like a year after the show had stopped and everything. Goes, oh yeah, we threw that in there for you. We had to wheel it in from craft services, and we just put it in there for that shot. And I was like, sweet. I'm calling. If you look at that console when it gets translated into English, it says at the very right corner, WSA. And the only thing I can figure out that would be is White Sack Angels.
You're going to claim that, huh?
I am going to claim that, damn it. That's just cool. We'll never get confirmation from it, but I am going to claim that is White Sack Angels. Everybody else can suck it. That's what it means.
Uh-huh. That's assuming that the show even knows anything about us.
What else could it mean?
Oh, if there was one thing that I wanted to ask Kevin Murphy that we didn't, it would have been about White Sack, and it was the interview never went there. And
I don't think I'm not sure how he received it, but he did confirm
Sackers in space.
Sackers in space.
Caster, everyone can suck White Sacks. Yeah, okay.
But it's that kind of thing, I mean, when we did tell him about Clarence, though, he got a big kick out of that. So I was super happy.
He said the name Clarence for us.
He goes, Clarence the Frog is, yes, we had to focus on that. I'm like, yes, his name is not Clarence. Kevin Murphy said it. That's his freaking name now. We may have tricked him in it like a djinn, but that's his name.
No idea where that actually came from. It was probably some high school science room somewhere that they stole it from.
Something they stole or found in a prop room somewhere. This is great. We got a doctor's office here. Frog. There you go. Everyone can enjoy that. It's ambience. Shut up.
It's great. And then I want to point out that Arissa has still the nanites and the Arctech in her brain.
Ooh, yes. He never took it out, and Doc says she couldn't do it.
And it's a storyline to be told next time around. I don't think Arissa's out of the woods yet. If we get a season 4 or 5, I think her evolution into some sort of cyborg will continue, unfortunately. We did not get You're an Idiot. We did actually get an I Love You.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think it was appropriate for her about that point of the thing. And the fact that she didn't fight him more than she did. She's like, look, you were a monster at 1.2.
Oh, that was, wow. When she said that, it was like, you were a monster too. And it was at that point.
So was I.
That he was like, oh, yeah, we need to save the Olmec. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. You coddle that girl of yours. You know that, right?
And she went along with it, though. I mean, Yule was like, okay, well, she makes sense.
She needs somebody to unplug her.
Well, no, she didn't need somebody to unplug her, but it did mean that she would get to live for a little while longer. And if Doc is anything, she's a survivor. So I don't know.
Sarcastic survivor.
Yeah.
I like the part going back earlier to it. And Nolan's always talking about Arissa. Like, whenever she's like, I'm going. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, we live or die. One rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he walks out and he says it to Daytech. He's like, she always used that against me.
She's like a club.
She uses it like a club. And Daytech, did you see how he smirked and smiled at that?
Yeah.
That was good. Oh, and there is a moon. Yay. Thank you.
There is a moon.
We saw the moon. Thank you.
So at the end of all of this, I think we've come to the town people acceptance. I think they're accepting Daytech. Maybe not Stama yet, but she'll get there.
Maybe. I think they're going to associate both. But Stama is definitely they're not a fan of. We know that because we've seen it. Daytech, who knows?
She's not the only one that blew up the arch.
Well, yeah, but Daytech cut off his arm and nearly killed himself defending the town.
Twice.
Stama didn't. Yeah, twice. Stama didn't do that. He went up to the spaceship to, on a live or die mission and helped save us from the Omeg.
I married a fool.
Stama didn't do that. So he has really been.
Daytech's come around.
He's been a man of action here in the last bit of the season here since Alak got captured. I mean, he's really made good life decisions.
Mm-hmm. And he's proud of Alak too overall.
Yeah. So Stama has not done that, and I think the townspeople still are mistrustful for her, and probably for good reason. She was hanging with the Olmec, which were going to kill her. She had helped blow up the arch. Now Daytech did too, but she helped blow up the arch. She disappeared for a while when she didn't help defend the town. She's really not done a whole lot in the eyes of the town of Defiance to justify her existence there. Daytech has. Dude lost an arm defending the town. I mean, he went up to the ship, risked life and limb.
Yep.
Dude.
She's got some
literally
storyline there.
So she's got some making up to do. She has some atonement. And I think maybe season 4, you'd see some of that if we got it.
Yeah, if we get it. No idea when we're going to find out.
This could be our last show.
This could be, as we were talking about in the last podcast, this could be our last show. We don't have Nolan's gun anymore. That's gone bye-bye.
Did you see his face? Like, oh!
That's my favorite gun.
And SyFy has just canceled Haven, and I wouldn't have expected them to make that decision at this point in time because their last season hasn't even aired yet. So I don't know. Last year, when did they make the decision last year? It was late in October.
Oh, yeah, it was late.
It was around September. It's before my birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this could drag out. I don't think it will. I think especially because Kevin has mentioned that he's going to be trying to do show running for another show at the same time, which is not, people have done multiple shows before, so this is not a death sentence for Kevin to go out and do it. Take a look at the people that are running like Flash and Arrow and stuff like that. And J.J. Abrams himself is show running, 15 different shows. So from Person of Interest and stuff like that. So it is possible. And I think we're just going to have to wait for SyFy's decision. I don't think there's any... AMC's not going to pick this up. Netflix is not going to pick this up. So it's either going to be SyFy or bust. So we'll just see.
Well, you can't because they had the rights to it.
Well, they could sell it. At any time. They can always sell it. It's just sort of like baseball trading. You can always sell a player or trade a player or something. So they could do that, but they're not going to. It's either they're going to have enough ratings or enough justification that they're going to keep it on for a 4th season, or this is it. And they ended it here very gracefully. So there wouldn't have to be a movie. There wouldn't be upset fans, really. There wouldn't be anything. So they could or they could not. We don't know.
I hope that they don't take so long to renew it because it puts all the actors and stuff back in that winter of Toronto again.
Well, it also, there's contract negotiations. There's all kinds of stuff. So I would hope so. Mostly because I want to see you get a tattoo. I think it'd be hysterical. I wasn't there for your first one because you did it at your bachelorette party. So that would be amusing to see. Also, I would like to redo the logo with the cool
arch.
Mm-hmm. And apparently I got to put some more characters in it. You guys get to pick one character each and I will put them in.
Done.
I know who you're going to get.
I've told you who I'm going to get.
Anna Banana?
Yeah, why not?
You're like, I want my girl in there too. Nope, you guys each get one, and I'm going to do the arch, and then that's going to be it. Because I think next season, if we get a 4th, that will definitely be it.
It's unfortunately SyFy normally doesn't go past 4 seasons on shows.
Honestly, you can tell a story. You can tell a complete story in 4 seasons.
Right. So what I'm saying, I'm disagreeing with you. I think if we fight hard and if we by a chance get a 4th season, we will not get a 5th. I don't think we'll get a 5th.
No, that's normally not their MO. I mean, look at Warehouse 13, Sanctuary. I mean, they pretty much go
dump
4 and
them
out.
at the end of 4.
Yeah.
I think more and more people are getting the Amazon Prime and being able to watch the show there. But I think if it was put on Netflix, I think I'll go back to that. I've talked about this before. I think it would have received a little bit more traction in the off season, and maybe perhaps going forward, it would have had a growing fan base. But yeah, I do appreciate the 3 years that we've seen. I think this is, following BSG, I think that we can safely say that this is the resurgence of sci-fi in the space sort of genre, even though we're not really in space. But this is definitely, alien space sort of show, and I'm glad to see sci-fi venturing more into that. I took a look at the ratings, and not for Friday's episode because that's not out yet, but for last week, it was pretty much on par. It was a 0.24 in the 18 through 49 demographic. It did make the list this time around in the largest 18 through 49% increase. At 100%, it was number 23 out of 25. Haven was indeed canceled. That happened on the 18th of August here. And Defiance got this is in the demographic, so the 18 through 49. Defiance got a 0.24. Killjoys, this is 2 weeks ago, not Friday. Killjoys got a 0.21, and that was their season finale. But Dark Matter got a 0.26. So people, if you just go by that 1 week, people are liking Dark Matter more. But Dark Matter did not make the Live Plus 7 day increase list. That was just Defiance. So Continuum comes out on September 11th for a 6-episode final season.
Shannon is very excited.
Yeah. There's an example of a show, and it's not a sci-fi show, it's a space show, but a show that had a cliffhanger in their last season, and it would have been bad if it left on that. So I'm glad they're getting the 6 episodes to wrap it up.
Yeah, they needed to finish the storyline.
Yeah.
Or you'd have a whole other Firefly thing on your hand.
With Continuum, I don't know. I don't
know. You could end it, and it would be fine. I don't think there would be. First of all, the reason everybody always points to Firefly is because of 3 things. 1, it was Joss Whedon, and he has proven that when he really puts his heart into something, it is the most special thing you can wind up finding. 2, it was Fox, and Fox is notorious for throwing away gold. I mean, look at what they did with Futurama. They threw away Futurama. Comedy Central came on, picked that out of the trash, and went, oh, yes, we think we'll make several hundreds of millions off of this. Oh, yeah, and did. There's a lot of history of people making gold off of crap Fox throws away, because I don't think they understand what it is. Well, it's not that they're crap. It's just that they have a very particular system, and it's stupid. They do a lot of creativity, a lot of new shows, and they give almost all of them no chance at all to survive. Right? It's more like a gladiator arena than anything else. But
unless you're 24.
Oh, man, that went on way too long. I was never a big 24 fan. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are, but I didn't really get into it. And isn't Simpsons still going on?
It's still, but some of the actors are actually passing away at this point in time. So I don't know how much longer they can go.
Yeah, I mean,
Simpsons has been going on since I was in elementary.
And I'm like, God, that should have been killed a decade ago.
Simpsons went head to head with the Cosby Show and ran the Cosby Show into the ground. Fox specifically put it up against the Cosby Show to take it down.
Yeah, and it did. And it for 5 to 10 years, there was just a juggernaut. Nothing could touch it. Now it's just a little bit sad. I'm happy for the people like, what was her name? Amy Cartwright and Hank Azaria and all the people who do the voices for the show, because it's like steady acting, steady work, man. You're good. You're golden. I'm very happy for those people and the people who do the show, but man, it should have been canceled. We need other stuff. You got more than enough freaking syndication for material, but for this particular show and the whole new sci-fi thing, because remember when they canceled Battlestar Galactica and Caprica within like a year or two of each other, and then Blood and Chrome came out, it wasn't so great. There was a lot of, and then they put wrestling on, and there was a whole bunch of other things. Everyone went, I don't know what sci-fi is smoking. I mean, they're going insane. And
then they changed their name.
Yeah, they went from to
Sci-Fi to SyFy.
SyFy. But what we got out of that was Defiance, Dark Matter, and Killjoys.
Took a while.
Finally.
And it took a while. And, they had Warehouse 13 in between there, which was phenomenal. Shannon and I both enjoyed that very much. Sanctuary, which was a completely underrated show. I loved that show. Shannon was a huge fan as well.
There's an example of a show that kind of ended on a quasi cliffhanger, right? Sanctuary. Yeah. But you were okay with where it ended, but there was more story to tell.
Yeah, there was definitely more story to tell. If they got renewed, they could have gone in. But I mean, she's like, hey, they built an entirely new sanctuary. She let Will know that he was going to be her successor, but she ain't done yet, because Magnus was this kind of mysterious character. Oh, it was an amazing. I mean, the best line I've ever heard in a sci-fi show was Nikola Tesla said the lady with a gun to the vampire.
We still say that to each other.
We still say that to each other when we're saying something ridiculous. She's like, I don't want to hurt him. And Nikola Tesla, who's a vampire, looks at her like, said the lady with the gun to the vampire. But they have these great shows. Castor Vegas said we got the Peacekeeper Wars. And we did get the Peacekeeper Wars for Farscape, which was an amazing end to that show because it really did. I mean, it ended with the whale eating the, God, what were their names? Crichton and Aaron's son. So I think they're doing better. They have a lot to make up for, to be honest, and they're not helping their situation with crap like Sharknado 3.
You'd say that, but it makes money for them. So you don't know how much money that has funneled in.
And here's the thing with, actually, I talked to a friend of mine who was like, you know what? Do you know about Sharknado 3? It was basically funded by crowdsourcing, internet advertising, and stuff like that. And what was it? Subway and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they had all kinds of ridiculous product shots in there and all that kind of thing. But it works. It's a system that works. And they paid for it. And people obviously wanted to do it, so you get a second and a third one and all that kind of stuff. And they put people with different stars and sci-fi creds who just want to do something silly and stupid in there to do that stuff. The animation is bad and all that stuff. But it's made to be not even a sci-fi B, but a sci-fi C or D. Some people will argue sci-fi F type of movie. And here you have Defiance in the middle of that. To bring this around, here you have Defiance.
No advertising.
Yeah, they had Dodge to start with.
They did.
And it really helped. And I think at the time and they had the game and they launched it all and everything, which you still play. So there's a lot of stuff in there that made this kind of work. And if you look at Dark Matter and Killjoys, they don't have anything like that. They are specifically being stacked right on the back end of Defiance, which means Defiance is the anchor.
Has to be the showrunner.
So they've really put a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of investment into this show, which we appreciate.
So if we lose Defiance, what do they have?
Well, we don't know. We'll just say they've made decisions have been made before, and it's been kind of iffy. On our Skiffy's been iffy on our kind of end of that, but this is a wonderful show. It's full of wonderful characters and actors and
great storylines.
And they've given us 3, which is more than we thought we might get at the end of season 2. So,
and you got to give credit to the people that are playing these characters. They're out there doing it in minus 30-degree weather
and having a ball,
and sitting against trees like Linda Hamilton and singing to the babies.
And here you have Kevin Murphy, who has kept this thing going for 3 years. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work out for all of us and the whole Defiance crew and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, it has been a wonderful story. They've covered a lot of ground, especially this season. This season was very fast-paced. They told a lot of story in the middle of it, and they gave us a lot of entertainment. So for that, I can't complain.
You've seen the characters bloom. You've seen them go from the very first season pilot to where you didn't know where it was going to go. And then you've seen such a transformation of everyone on the show that there's certain characters that I like less, but there's not anybody on the show that I really don't like at all.
I really can't put that any better. But the only thing I have left to do is say thank you to the people who actually listen to this.
The 5, probably.
Yeah, we do have some feedback to go through first, though.
Yeah.
So Jody Wright on Facebook said, I thought I'd share this funny. Every time I see Berlin on the show, I don't think, hey, there's Berlin. I think, hey, there's Anna Banana. Of course, then I laugh out loud like an idiot. Thanks, guys, for the great podcast. I will point out, Jody, that it really wasn't us that came up with the Anna Banana name. That's her Twitter handle.
Yeah, we just call her that because it's fun.
And because SP likes her.
Yeah.
I do, and I can't wait to see more of her in Arrow if she ever does show up there.
You just want to see more of her.
Also, from the land of people that don't exist in Defiance, we do have a voicemail. So here we go.
Hi, Shannon, Sean, and SyFy. Damn you, Defiance. So many fears. I never thought I'd say this, but Alec and Arissa are kind of adorable, and that baby, so cute. I really liked Amanda and Stammer's relationship before the whole Kenya thing came out into the light, so I really love them mending their fences. I have so much love for Dog Yule and every single thing about her. She's amazing. Kinsey got exactly what was coming to her. Sorry, Sean. Sympathy cards in the mail. Nolanda was super sweet, but Nolan and Arissa's last scene just destroyed me, especially when later Nolan referenced Jackson from the pilot. That scene is what got me hooked in the first place. If we don't get a season 4, this episode left me able to come to accept that. That said, we need a season 4 for more reasons than a voicemail can describe. I love this show, I love these characters, and I love the fandom. Thank you, Voices of Defiance, for an amazing season of podcasts. I'll really miss hearing from you guys. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much, Libby.
Okay, bye.
Yay.
Okay, bye. You're so cute.
You want to just pinch your cheeks.
And I need to start saying thank you myself. Thank you for all the great iTunes reviews that we have received. You guys are great for doing that. It does make us a little bit more discoverable for people looking for Defiance podcasts. So thank you for that. They find us and then they get to interact with everybody. And then we get to have more fun with everybody. On Twitter, Andy Migna, who is a friend of the GonnaGeek Network in general, said, "Still convinced Kinsey will return? Or does he, meaning you, stick to your headcanon like Stargate Pioneer?"
Oh, well, she's constantly in my head, so she never left.
She returned in pieces.
No, she never left. I pieced her back together and put her back in a Hot Pocket tube. She came out fine.
I want to see her come back as a
We're snuggling in my head right now.
She needs to come back as a Castipin.
Doc Yule is there to do repairs, you know. So.
Yeah. Or they just cloned her and made another indigene look like her. I'd be fine and act like her. I'd be fine with that too. That is acceptable as well.
And then Nicole Munoz, we tweeted and said we missed you very much. And then she chimed back in and said, thank you. I miss you guys too. I miss talking with you guys. So Nicole, you and Christy are always on our mind. We hope you can come back in a flashback if there's a season 4. And as we mentioned in our private chat, you are always welcome to come on and be the 4th Voices of Defiance co-host. And with that, thank you to everybody that has come on as a guest, not only this season, but the last 2 years on Voices of Defiance. We really appreciate everybody from Trenna, who was our first, to Kevin Murphy, all the way through. We appreciate everybody that has come and been a part of this. We also, as Sean mentioned, really appreciate all the listeners and all the people that play Defiance with Shannon on White Sack Angels and that sort of stuff. So we really appreciate it. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. Right, Shannon?
Exactly. Absolutely. We wouldn't have anything to talk about, to tweet about, or...
Yeah, it's good. It's good. This is Shannon's first podcasting experience, this show. And in fact, when SB was putting this whole thing together and everything, he's like, I want Shannon. You know, Shannon's going to be it. And Shannon was pretty nervous about it, but pretty excited. So it has been interesting to just see her become a podcaster.
No one has to see my face, so I'm happy.
She's got a real microphone now. She's got
a real mic.
The cool thing that I got out of all this, I mean, I like the show, and I came to the show for lots of different reasons, but the fandom that I've gained by watching this show, the fandom alone, the friends that I've made on Twitter, which I had Twitter for years that I
never used it.
It just sat there.
Now she's constantly on. In fact, our daughter, who is 5, will say, Mama doesn't play with me anymore. She just plays with her friends on Twitter.
You gotta have priorities. But, the fandom, the friends I've made, the game that I play, all this is because of Defiance. So even if we don't get another season, I've still gained from the show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not something you could say a lot about other shows. I mean, the genre itself is what hooks me in, but the fandom, the fans of these sci-fi shows are amazing.
I will say 2 things. One, podcasting in general, for those of you listening, whoever hears this, both of you, podcasting in general will change and this is a Kevin Smith quote, which he started podcasting actually weirdly after I did, but it had blown past me at the speed of sound. But he said podcasting will change your life in weird little ways. And he was basically retired and I'm just going to do podcasts and everything. And through podcasting kind of energized his career and what he wanted to do. And he realized, I'm not done. I still have some stories to tell. I still have some things to do. Podcasting does that at every level for everybody. If you start a podcast, it will change how you think about things and how you do things and how you react with people and all that kind of stuff. And you won't notice it until you look back, right? That kind of stuff is applied for Shannon as well. And it's been interesting to see, and it's been fun to do and everything. And podcasts do that. So I encourage anybody, I don't care who you are, you have something valuable to say, and start a podcast.
It also makes you sit and, overanalyze every TV show you're watching.
Yeah, it used to drive Shannon crazy because I would sit there and watch a show and just pick it apart and watch it like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, and I've done podcasts for years now, since 2006. And
9 years.
Yeah, honestly, you do that to every show you watch now. And you just like, look at this. You see this? Hey, look at that. This is what they're going to do. This is the story arc that we've got. This is how this all puts together and all that kind of, because you have to just analyze and you get these different perspectives and all that kind of thing. It used to be, the reason I'm like that with like Battlestar Galactica is I've heard every theory there is to hear. Yep. Every theory. And because it was, we were kind of in that whole space, and podcasting was a little smaller back then, so there weren't as many casts about different shows. And I just got so burned out on it. It wasn't fun anymore. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed what was going on. And you can ask SP. After BSG ended, I was burned out on both doing casts and doing all kinds of stuff. And I was kind of cynical about it, all that kind of thing. So, but this show, not so much. It's just been nothing but fun. I've been sitting here with my wife and my homie, and we just talk Defiance.
Look here, SP.
Nice.
Yeah, she's got a Stamma phone cover. But I encourage anybody, go start a show. Go talk about something. Go enjoy material. You'll find other people out there like you. And even if you don't, even if your show falls miserably on its face, much like this one has. But even if that kind of thing happens, the experience will be worth it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You should go in with some goals, like finding like-minded people, which is one of the goals that we did with this one. My learning how to produce a podcast was one of them. I will say, it is on our contact page. There's a little blurb on the bottom in the acknowledgments. Sean and I are available. If you have questions for how to podcast, we can definitely point you in the right direction. I know a lot of people know more than us, but we know enough to get you started and get you started as cheaply and as robustly as we can. So absolutely. One of the other reasons that I wanted to do this is because I grew up in a barn on a farm listening to AM radio and talk, which was great with sports and everything and news. But after a while, I just wanted to talk sci-fi. And there wasn't the plethora of talk back then that there is now on these shows, and to find like-minded communities or whatever. So this is my way of giving back. And this was definitely one of the reasons I'm like, I want to talk Defiance. Sean and I were talking. There weren't that many Defiance podcasts around, and they've dwindled off. There was a couple the first season that don't exist anymore and that sort of stuff. So we thought, hey, let's come in and let's do this because it checks all the boxes. And besides, Shannon would have a chance to talk to everybody, to the world, about Jamie Murray every week. So
yeah, we were trying to get Shannon on a podcast for a very long time. And this was the first one that sprung her.
Well, the whole reason I came to Defiance was because I already knew Jamie from Warehouse 13.
Yeah.
So watching Warehouse 13, watching Warehouse 13, and you see the commercials for Defiance, I'm like, okay, that looks awesome. Oh, Jamie. Oh, okay, I'm there. So I came to Defiance because of Jamie, but she's not the reason I stay. I would hate it if Stamma got killed off. But there's other characters that I like.
Yeah, she was literally shaking her first podcast. Pretty much through half of it.
You didn't talk your first podcast, and I listened to my first podcast, and I was like, really? I thought I did good. No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. I operated on the principle of, on my first podcast that...
Andy? Andy. Yes, Spartacus. I am aware of Spartacus.
Yeah. I operated on the principle of it's better to be quiet and have everybody wonder if you're an idiot than start opening your mouth and remove all doubt.
That took about somewhere between 12 and 25 weeks.
Yeah. And now you can't shut me up.
No.
So
me neither.
So
give me more Stamma.
It's all good. So to emphasize, we will be back. If there is a season 4, we will be back. We will not abandon this because we really want to see where this goes and go from there. I believe, Shannon, you are still going to be playing the game, at least for now.
Yes.
So you can find her there. You can find us on Twitter and get a hold of us.
You can always find me on Twitter.
Yeah, at SyFy Girl with 2 Y's and a U. I'm at Stargate Pioneer, and the Reverend over there is at Rev Sean O'Hare.
Be well, my children.
Log.
We all have access to the Voices of Defiance Twitter as well, so you can get a hold of us there. Our Facebook page isn't going to go anywhere. You can catch us there. Emails will still exist for the meantime, and the webpage will still exist, but we might transition to the GonnaGeek page here between the end of the season and the beginning of next. If it's there, the podcast will still be available. They're not going anywhere. I will maintain the hosting through Libsyn, so they will still be available. But we do not plan to not podcast if there's a season 4. If I can make it any more confusing than that, I would. But if SyFy picks it up, we will be back. Do you guys have anything left to say to the fans, to Defiance? Log! Log!
Yeah, I've said it over and over again. I mean, this fandom is what keeps me here. I love the friends I've made. I love talking with them on Twitter. I love playing the game with them. So the fandom has been good to me. So I'm happy.
Yep, it has been. It's been a pleasure knowing everybody. No trolls amongst anybody. I haven't been trolled at all, so that's really cool. We do still have the voicemail line. That is not going anywhere unless Google shuts out its voice. That is 612-888-ARC1 or 612-888-2751. So with that, I will say it's been a pleasure. My name is Stargate Pioneer. I'm going to turn it over to Shannon.
This is Shannon. Thanks, guys.
It's been fun, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Voices of Defiance. If you want to get in touch with us, you can catch us on Twitter at VoicesODefiance. Email us at feedback@voicesofdefiance.com. Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/voicesofdefiance. Swing by our website, www.voicesofdefiance.com, or send us a voicemail on area code 612-888-ARC1. That's 612-888-2751. This podcast is not affiliated with SyFy, the television show Defiance, or the Trion video game Defiance. Music titled after the Apocalypse by Schneeshnook and Rocket Easy by Soundrogue can be found on pond5.com. Catch you next time, and watch out for those hellbugs.
Shannon has jacked with my board yesterday because she had to do Skype gaming, so I had to make some adjustments here. So I think I got it all plugged back in though.
Yeah, okay. I'm familiar with the drill.
Yeah, but do people come in there and touch your?
No. This is supposed to be the family office, and if
yeah, it looks so family-y right from what I'm seeing, man.
Well, office supplies are contained within these walls, so
that's the designator. That's how it's the family office. There is paper. There is pencils in here. Everything else is mine.
Oddly enough, it's all duplicated in the basement next to the kids' computer. So
mine. It's just all mine. Nobody come in there and touch my stuff.
You don't mind sharing with me, though.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't touch any of my really cool stuff. Shuttle Tidarian is okay. My Stormtrooper's okay.
I don't need to touch. I don't need to touch your stuff.
It's just you just use me for my computer skills. That's right, all it is.
So once in a while, every Sunday morning and every Wednesday evening, right before I go live on both those podcasts, Dropbox takes a gigantic and decides not to be available, which is only a problem if I'm trying to load like new voicemail or something to my Boss Jock Studio app.
Oh, well, we don't need that at all.
Well, fortunately,
that voicemail.
Fortunately, the voicemail came in this morning after I woke up, so I went to.
It's from Cookie.
Yeah, and I went to load it, and it is loaded. It is there. But if I hadn't woken up this morning, I'd be scrambling. We do have a new intro from Neil, which I am piping through on the second Skype machine because it wouldn't load. But whoa, sorry.
It loads fine now.
that was GD. Holy crap, that was loud for me. Also, from the land of people that don't exist in Defiance, we do have a voicemail. So here we go.
Shit, taco.
Please stand by.
We just thought we had it.
Okay, let's take the channel off of mute. Here we go.
Chivo!
Butt plug?